Hey everyone. So today in this video, we're going to look at two stocks which are really setting up very well in terms of price, and they've not moved much in the last few months. And I sense that there's going to be a very strong up move coming in these stocks in the coming weeks or coming months. So before we get into the stocks, I want to discuss about last week's video that I posted. So the last week, I posted a video which had four stocks: NMDC, Morapin, Avanti Feeds, and one more stock in edible oil space. So these four stocks actually were pretty good in terms of setup, but in the last 1 week, there's only two stocks, Morapin and NMDC, which have kind of gone in the positive side and have given positive returns. So, but other two stocks haven't moved much, and a few people have already started pinging me and asking, will these two stocks also start moving ahead or not? Right? In fact, people are also pinging about Morapin and asking why is the stock not moving. Now, today, before I start the video about the two stocks that I want to discuss a very important concept about having patience after you find some really good setups. Now, markets tend to go up and down always with sometimes the moves are really strong on the upside, sometimes the moves are really strong on the downside. Now, when we find stocks, and the stocks that I find are stocks which are consolidating for quite some time after moving up very strongly, and these stocks have the potential to move up again. Now, we set a stop loss and we just wait patiently and see if these stocks can perform according to our expectations. But a lot of you do not have patience, and you kind of keep pinging me on Twitter, on YouTube, and asking me, will these stocks move? Now, that's not the right way to invest or trade in markets. Now, there could be a few reasons why you're asking this. Now, first reason is you either put all your money in one of these stocks because I said I have a high conviction, and that's the reason you have put money in those stocks and you expect those stocks to move forward. The second thing is you don't understand technical analysis, you don't understand the company, and these are some of the reasons why you don't really understand why the stock is not moving. Right? On any stock which is doing a trendline reversal or which is moving after a long consolidation will take some time before it starts to give a very big move. So we are not identifying breakout stocks. So last video which I posted was not really breakout, but whereas Shraddha was more of a breakout stock that I posted. Right? So there are two techniques. One is you're buying a retest and buying a breakout. Now, breakout stocks don't really, have that good risk reward compared to trendline reversal stocks or breakout retest stocks. And breakout retest stocks, kind of consolidate sometime, a few weeks, few days before it starts a big move. So all I'll tell is the markets can be weak, the markets can be strong, but some stocks will tend to perform, and you want to be in those stocks and you want to hold them in your portfolio before they start moving up. And that's why I selected in this year, I've selected 5 stocks till now. And the only reason I've selected these 5 is because I see the stocks have almost completed consolidation or have almost started their sideways move, and it's ready for a new upward journey, and it might come probably in a week's time, probably in a month's time, or sometimes we might just hit stop loss and it might be out. Okay, so I want to stop with that, and all I ask is have some patience. If you're following my channel, you know that stocks tend to perform after a couple of days or few weeks, so until then you must have patience. So today, these two stocks that we're going to look at also is a similar kind of consolidation phase, or they've not moved much in the last few months. And that's the reason I find these stocks have probably a good potential to move up. So these two stocks are, the first stock is Caplin Laboratories, and the second stock we're going to discuss today is SH Kelkar. Now, both stocks are looking very good. They have broken out, or they're about to break out into new highs, new 52-week highs, and both are also fundamentally very good. Okay, so let's not waste more time and let's look at these stocks for today. So I'm going to show trading view as usual. So if you haven't looked at trading view, then you want to look at these. Now, the first time the stock came in Mars scanner was back in June. You see CCI is the scanner that I use, and it crossed 100 at this point in the month of June 2020. Now, that also meant the stock came out of a very strong, downtrend, right? So if you look at this line that I'm drawing, so that's a downtrend breakout. Somewhere in June, July, we had a downtrend breakout, and stock had a good move. It kind of corrected again. Now it's again had a good move again until August, and then now the last 5-6 months it has been going in a tight consolidation. Now, as I always say, you need to do multi-time frame analysis and see what the stock is doing in the monthly time frame, weekly time frame, and then go to the daily time frame to find or identify your buying points for the stock. Now, it's very important to find the buying point because you don't want to be in losses, or you want to be in quick profits as soon as you enter a stock. Okay, so looking at Caplin's monthly chart. Now here, I'm going to just show you what happened. So in 2017 of July, the stock kind of made a high and then it corrected all the way, to lows of 176. 170 around, and then it started again an upward journey. Right now it's kind of breaking out of that high, and now it is making it has crossed that all-time high and it's consolidating around that all-time high. Now this is a very strong sign that the stock is not really coming down, it is just going sideways, but it is within a range. So the range is all between that July month candle when it kind of crossed that all-time high, and everyone who has bought the stocks since 2017 and who are holding till now, most of them are in profits. Now that's one of the reasons why these stocks tend to outperform, because there's no strong reason for people to sell these kind of stocks, because most of them who bought even in 2017 are sitting in profits now, and people who bought in 2017 and who have been waiting for their price to come back again are kind of selling, and that selling is being absorbed currently as we speak. Okay, so that's the monthly analysis. So we are going in a very tight range. It's kind of a sandwich. You have these monthly price charts, price candles almost sandwiching each other. But the other good thing to note here is the volumes that has been coming with this move up, right? So remember, the downtrend breakout first happened here, and then we kind of broke out in July, and then we kind of going sideways and we're going up. So the trend is now completely up, and this is a long-term trend that we're looking at. And now if you go to the weekly charts, we also want to look at what's happening in the weekly charts. So we've been having some kind of strong buying happening in this zone, right? So the zone between 710 to 680, there has been some strong buying, and on the weekly also we're kind of forming a very strong base here, and we're going sideways, and the volume is kind of drying up completely. The selling is almost complete, I feel, and I feel this stock is now set to head higher. Now the last thing that I want to look at is the trend line itself. Now, if you just draw this trend line here, and if you just go to the log chart, or even if you go in, we're in the log chart right now, and if you see, we're almost retesting that trend line here, and the stock is just retested here back in December, kind of went up and is again retesting that same point. So now also if you look at this point over here, we're kind of forming a very interesting resistance. So resistance is around 890, and again here around 890 we kind of got rejected. So 890 is a very strong resistance. Once we take out 890, we're going to hit to 1050 levels. We're going to cross 1000, we're going to head much higher levels. So that's the technical analysis for Caplin. But before we move to the next stock, what I want to discuss is at what point should you enter, what is my targets, and what should be a stop loss. So as I always say, I enter a stock moment I find a stock like this, which is reversing twice with dojis. You see this reversal with doji here, again a doji here, and the stock is kind of reversing. So I feel this is a very good point to buy Caplin Laboratories at the current price. So the current price right now is around 800 odd levels. So you can buy right now a Caplin at 800 levels with a stop loss around this weekly low, which is around 710. So 713. So I'm rounding out to 710. So that's going to be the stop loss for us, and we're going to buy at current price of 805. So 710 to 805 is just 90 point stop. So around 10% to 12% stop loss, and we're going to look for targets of first around 1020, which is the previous highs. So once we cross 1035, then we're going to look at more highs going forward. So for a 10% stop, you're going to look at least a reward, of here the reward is at least 30%. So that's 1:3 reward, and then we can keep trailing stop loss, and the stock might head much higher from there. Right now, how much to allocate? As I always say, do not allocate more than 5%. But if you know technical analysis very well, then you can even allocate a much higher quantity to the stock, and you can get that quick move, which is going to come probably in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so that's the technical analysis of Caplin Laboratories. So if you do not understand any of this point that I spoke till now, do write to me on Twitter, or just tag me on Twitter and just write to me. I'll answer there, or you could also make a comment in this video and I'll also respond on the video. So the second thing that we always look at is the fundamental analysis. Now fundamental analysis is very important because you want to be buying stocks that are really good, right? In terms of the company performance, you want to be looking at stocks which are doing really well. So looking at the fundamental analysis of this company, so I'm looking at the balance sheet, the P&L, profit and loss statement, and all that. So it is a pretty, not a very small company. It has 6,000 crores market cap. It is doing a ROC of 32.5. Now, as I always say, I look at stocks which are undervalued, right? So example, if the ROC is 32.5, I want at least a ROC of 30 around, and that's the kind of expectations that I have at least, and anything above that is also good, right? But if it's trading at somewhere around 10, when the ROC is 30, that's pretty undervalued, and you might want to look at these kind of stocks. And there is a nice article which I've written or blog which I've written on my on my blog. So this is the blog link. You might want to go and check there this particular concept that I've written here. So if you look at, sorry, I'm going to find it. Yeah, I think it's somewhere around the CCI and pivot based strategy. If you go and look at this article, you might find why I say you should be looking at P ratio of P stock should not be less than 2, right? So if this ROC is 30, you don't want to be investing in that stock if it has a P of already above 60. It's pretty overvalued. Now in this case, it's around, it's not even 1, so that's why I'm looking at this stock. Now this is in the pharma space, so most of you would know that that Caplin is in the pharma space, and off late it has been posting excellent results. So since 2019 quarterly results, if you see, we have posted 326 crores in top line with a margin of around 31%. Margin has been pretty consistent, and also the profit has been pretty high at around 75 crores now, right? That's also all-time high in terms of quarter results, and even the annual results have been pretty good, and they've been growing very strong over the last many years, right? Even the all-time high annual profits also have been around 240 crores, which is all-time high, and they've been growing their sales and profits at a very good CAGR. Right now, that's one of the reasons why I'm looking at this company, and reserves have gone also to 1300 crores, and the shareholding, most of the shares are held by promoters, so that's also a good 68 to 70%. So everything that we're looking at Caplin looks excellent, right? And if you look at the PE ratio, right, so what I always look is what's happening to the PE ratio, right? The stock was valued at a PE ratio of 40 around 2015, and even around 2017 it was valued at a 57 PE, right? But since then the stock PE has come down, which means the stock is getting undervalued over a period of time. It has come down, and while the sales and profits have gone up pretty significantly in the same period. So even if you look at this point, since 2018 the sales has gone up very much, but whereas the stock has not gone up much, and that's why I see the stock might perform probably starting soon in the next couple of weeks. Now that's the analysis of Caplin. Right. So now I touched upon technical plus fundamental analysis, and it's very important to look at both. You can't just look at fundamental analysis and buy a stock at any price. That doesn't make sense at all, because you might be buying a stock which has just moved up 30-50%, or which has moved up already 3x 4x in the last couple of years, and buying a stock at that point might sound really or might really bring negative returns to your portfolio. The stock might start going down. You might not know at what point you're buying. So that's why technical analysis, when you combine that with fundamental analysis, it provides you really good perspective in terms of what the price is doing, and you can find the right entry point for any stock using technical analysis. Now, if you do not still understand this, do follow me on Twitter, and some of the videos that I post on YouTube will help you understand this. And I'm also planning to do a series of videos on how to learn technical analysis, and we'll have one video also this week coming along with after this Caplin point and SHK video. Okay, so let's look at the next stock, which is SH Kelkar. Now, Kelkar is also a very interesting stock. It is, in the fragrance, it produces these, kind of fragrance products for different industries, and they also a pretty decent company. I'll not say as a great company like Caplin, but they're a decent company in terms of sales and profits. They've been growing the sales and profits also pretty decently. So let's look at that stock without wasting much time. As usual, we'll start off with the technical analysis. Now, what I want you to do is always, when you open, TradingView, always start with the monthly charts, because monthly charts is going to give you a very good perspective on what the stock is doing, whether it's an uptrend, downtrend, or whatever that is, right? So if you look at SH Kelkar, I'm just going to remove these lines that I have. Now, SH Kelkar was listed back in 2015, and then it kind of went up, and then it started dropping. Now, one of the reasons I say that you have to follow technical analysis or try to understand what stocks are doing, because the moment it starts breaking down major supports like this, the stock goes in a long-term downtrend, right? Now, that's a very bad thing, especially if you bought the stock somewhere at this point. Then you're going to sit in, major losses, and you don't want to, book profits because you can't accept those losses. So that's why I say always try to use technical analysis, right? Now, in terms of the downtrend itself, the stock trend itself, the stock is coming out of a long-term downtrend, right? And if you see, the stock is been in a strong downtrend since 2017, and now off late the stock is kind of moving up with very good volumes. Now, the reason why I say technical analysis might help is because at this point around June 2020, a lot of people have bought this stock. Around 64 million shares were bought, and the next month 45 million shares, and then 30 million shares. That almost 100 million shares were bought just in a few months, and that shows at the 55 levels, investors found value in this company, and that's why the stock has started a major move up from 50. It almost has gone to 150 levels, 200 levels, and now the stock is kind of consolidating. But remember, the stock is still not out of a downtrend, right? There's every chance that the stock can head high, go below as well. Now there is a major consolidation happening around these levels, and I feel that this stock is almost completing its consolidation, and it's just about to move higher, probably in the next couple of months or next couple of weeks, next couple of days. No one knows that, right? So what I want to tell here is, or what I want to insist here is, as usual, let's look at CCI. The CCI is crossed 100 here. If you see, also in the weekly charts, this came in my scanner for the first time somewhere in the month of November 2020. Right now, since then, the stock has been going up consistently. On the weekly charts, it's in a clean downtrend. Right now, on the monthly charts, we saw there was a consolidation. On the weekly charts, if you see here, we have a very strong inverted head and shoulders breakout. Now, if you have been following me for quite some time, you know that inverted head and shoulders is my favorite pattern when it comes to identifying and trading them. Now, obviously, at this point was the best point to buy, 142, but the stock is still going around that zone. Right now, since that inverted head and shoulders breakout, there has been not much movement in the stock, and there has been a lot of absorption in terms of selling. I think we can safely say that the selling is being absorbed because inverted head and shoulders breakout signals the end of a downtrend. Right now, if you read Bulworski's books or his encyclopedia of chart patterns, you would understand that inverted head and shoulders is a very good point. A breakout is a very good point to buy a stock which is just coming out of a long-term downtrend. Right now, that's why I say this stock, I have high conviction on the stock because of that single reason. Now, when you club this with fundamental analysis, you will know why my conviction increases when you look at fundamentals, right? Now, obviously, I've shown you this inverted head and shoulders breakout. It happened back in May 2021, and then since then, the stock has been going sideways. There has been 1 week where there was massive buying, but after that, the stock is still going sideways, right? Now, at what point to buy the stock? Now, as usual, I'm going to say buy the stock at the current market price. The current market price closed around 152.95. So 153, you can buy the stock and keep a stop loss. Please, if you're buying my stocks, if you're looking at my stocks, and if you're looking at my suggestions, and if you're buying based on that, please keep a stop loss. Now, in this case, the stop loss is 135. So we're going to buy at 150 with a stop loss at 135, right? That's a 15-point stop. Now, 15-point stop is just around 10 to 11%. If you're buying 153, that's probably 18-point stop. So that's around 10 to 11% of stop. And we're looking for very good returns in the stock. In fact, here, if you ask me, I want to look at targets of at least 200 here. And that's a very good return in terms of, short-term trade. You're risking around 15 points and you're making, around 50 points return. Right now, that's a very good return from my perspective. And once we cross that levels of 200, then you can look at for even targets of 400 levels, 350 to 400 levels. And once you break that level of 400, 350 to 350 levels, then we can look for much higher returns in the stock. But always go step by step, see how the stock is moving and try to find what is the entry point, keep a stop loss, and then trail the stop loss. So that's how my process is, and I hope you've learned that by now. If you haven't, check out my more videos that I keep posting, and also my Twitter. There are some beautiful charts that I post on Twitter on how to trail stop loss. Okay. So how much to allocate is the last question. Obviously, you need to allocate 5, and if you know trading very well, then you can even allocate a higher percent depending on your risk appetite, and you can buy the stock SH Kelkar. So that's the technical analysis. Now let's look at the fundamental analysis of this company, right? So just search for SH Kelkar here. You'd find the fundamentals of this company here. Now again, as I said, the ROC is 15 and PE is just 12. Now, as I always say, I expect the stock to trade at least slightly above the ROCE, or at least twice that of the ROCE, so that that company is valued decently in the market. But the reason why I'm looking at the stock today is because that ROCE and PE is mismatched, and PE is lower than ROCE, and that's one of the reasons why I'm suggesting this stock today. Now, this is a very simple technique. There is more to fundamental analysis, but I'm just keeping it very simple so that you understand everything. ROE is also pretty good, and as I said, this company is the business of fragrances and aroma ingredients, and most of you know that most of the products we use day in day out at home, at office, most of these products tend to have some aroma and fragrance, and that's why I see that this stock has a lot of potential, and this stock can head higher from here. Now, looking at the PE ratio, as I always say, The stock was trading at a PE of, back in 2015, it was trading at a PE of 60, even 60, it was trading at a PE of 60. And today, the stock is trading at a PE of 10, right? 10, 12 levels. That's pretty undervalued, in my opinion. And the stock earnings have gone up of late, right? So since August, November, the stock has been doing well. The fundamentals of the company has been good, and the stock price has not been doing good. That's one of the primary reasons why I'm looking at the stock today. And that's the most important factor that I look at, right? In terms of undervalue, in terms of the valuation, is it really comfortable? And can I find a good entry point in a stock, right? So in terms of the quarter results, the stock has posted some of the highest numbers of late. If you see of late, the company has been posting around 350 crores in sales, and the margins have been hovering around 15 to 20% mark. And the profits have been, last quarter profits have been around 80 crores, and we're expecting probably a good results in this quarter as well. Right. Looking at the annual results, again, we are at all-time high, around 1,300 crores in profits and top line, and 145 crores in a bottom line in last year, and that's pretty good numbers, and it's all-time high numbers. The stock is, however, not at all-time high, right? That's why we're looking at the stock today. And reserves have been good. The only problem for me is the debt that they have, right? It has grown, so they have grown in the last few years, but also has come with debt. And I'm not sure why they taking this much of debt. If someone knows, do let me know. But I don't see this, really threatening in terms of the company. Something not like a Suzlon, which had like thousands of crores of debt. Just 300 crores, and it's doing a top line, of 1,000 crores, and it also has profit of 145 crores. So that's pretty good debt, in my opinion. Probably they're using it to expand their footprint, and also if you read the statement, they've mentioned that they want to expand to Europe, and also of late they have increased their export, the percentage of revenues in terms of the export, right? If you look here, in FY18 they had a 70% local share, but whereas now it's just 58%, and the export has increased from 30 to 42%. Now that's why I see that this company also is taking debt, maybe to expand and their business globally. So otherwise, I think in terms of shareholding, it's held, more than 50% is held by the company. That gives me some comfort. So the promoters do have some confidence in the business. And overall, the fundamentally also this company looks good. And if you do have any insights on this company or in terms of what the company is doing, do let me know. And I'd be, happy to discuss on Twitter or on YouTube or even on Insta. So these are two stocks, friends. So don't forget that you should keep a stop loss. We spoke about stop loss of 710 for Caplin and around 135 for SH Kelkar. And continue to hold the stocks that I've discussed before. So till now we've discussed 5 stocks plus today 7 stocks. So all you can do is allocate 5% each for each stock, or even you can go up to 10%. It's up to your risk appetite, but don't be aggressive and don't deploy more than 20-30% of your capital in just one stock unless you know trading very well. It's a different ball game when you invest a big amount of your capital that you have, and then you expect, once you see the stock coming down, then you start getting fear. Then it creeps in, and then you start doing weird things in markets. That's the biggest problem that most of us have, and I hope you can correct that, and I'll do make more videos on that as well. Okay, so otherwise I think that's it for today. I hope you like these 2 stock videos, and if you did like my analysis on these stocks, do share it with your friends and colleagues. It will help a lot of people to understand how to invest in a proper way in markets. And if you're investing, try to stick to weekly charts and don't go to daily charts, because daily charts might have much higher fluctuations, and sticking to weekly charts might help you ride long-term trends. And I'm also going to make one video on that, on how to ride long-term trends using very simple strategy. Okay, so that's it, friends, for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to share it with your friends and your colleagues, and spread the word of Trendline Investor. Our target for this year is 5,000, or more than that is very welcome. But that's the target that I have for this year, and I hope you will help me achieve that target. And have a good week ahead. Stay safe in these Corona times. Keep your health safe. Health is the most important thing. Stay safe and stay healthy. I'll see you in another video soon. Take care. Bye bye.